Hey guys, my name is Xela Andrews and I'm an interior designer, and today we're going to talk about paint. So we're at my house, we're at the crazy renovation, and things are going really well. This week big things are happening with paint. So I needed to just double check and make some choices, and so I thought it'd be a great time to talk to you guys and let you know how I go about choosing that, maybe give you some tips on that. So one of the biggest things, you have your color scheme that you're going with, but then you go in and you pick a bunch of paint. Now, I'm not a person that likes to buy a ton of samples. I really don't, because I most of the time don't think it does you any good. But when you are making really big choices like painting cabinets, those you've got to make sure you've got the right colors, because it's going to cost you too much and take too much time to redo those. Painting a wall, not as much. Cabinets, you've got to have it right the first time. So I went ahead while I was there. I'm going to be painting the walls, so I got some more samples and I just thought I'd show you what I do. So what I like to do is they sell these foam boards, and what's great about it is that you can paint this, you can move this around, you can see how it looks up against a wall, up against the fireplace, up against the trim in your house, all those things. Whereas painting a wall, then you paint and then you move and paint another spot, and before you know it, you have a rainbow on your wall. So this way you don't have the rainbow. You also, when you paint a wall that's already been painted, a lot of times you are going to see that paint come through underneath. Now, once it's primed and painted, you're going to be fine, but when you're testing out a color, that comes through. There are so many things that affect the color of paint. So you've got lighting, you've got whatever's on the floor, whether it be carpet or wood, you've got curtains, you've got trim, you've got the actual lighting in the room, whether you get daylight through there, if it's lots of windows. So many things affect the way the color looks on your walls. So you've got to make sure that you've tried it in different spots. This is really the quickest and easiest way. So this right here is the color that I have decided for my island. So I'm doing my island, the hood that's going to go over my stove, and then my pantry door are all going to be this dark. This is called software gray. And I just like the darkness of it. I've got a lot of light going on. So here's my backsplash. This is the marble tile that I've picked. And I don't have a sample of the quartzite that I picked, but you guys saw that in my last video, and it's really gonna pull this darkness out of it, which I'm excited about. So then for the rest of my cabinets, I've picked, this is called Snowbound. So I did not want a bright white. That's just not the look that I'm going for. So I wanted it just to be a little bit softer, a little bit creamier. I'm not changing the trim in my house. I'm keeping the trim the same. That's a whole ball of wax that I'm not ready to open. So the trim that I have is an ivory color. So this is going to be lighter than that, but complement it well. So that's a good thing. So what I've been trying to decide today is what color do I want my walls. So right now I have kind of a warm cream color. It's a little darker than a cream, I'd say. It's not a brown, it's not quite a beige. I'd say it's in the cream family. Anyways, I want to go with more of a cool color. I'm going to bring in warmth through the woods that I'm doing, through the furniture that I'm bringing in, the rugs that I'm bringing in. All that is going to bring my warmth. So I wanted to go with some cool. So my really big decision has been between the Big Chill and Repost Gray. So they look very similar, but one's a little warmer and one's a little cooler. So I'm still deciding, so I'm not going to tell you which one today. I'll let that be a surprise. Picking all these things, you want to make sure that you're thinking about how that's all going to look together. What colors are in your couch that you want to pull out, and what colors do you not want to pull out? If you've got brown in your couch, but you're like, I'm done with brown, then you need to make sure that you're doing a paint color that's not going to pull brown. You'd want to make sure you're pulling the cool colors if that's what you're looking for, the warm colors if that's what you're looking for. So I also pulled out Revere Pewter because honestly, this is an old standby for me. I've used it in countless homes. It looks good in every home. And honestly, it takes on a different color in every house that I've used it in. So I put it with my stuff. I'm not gonna go with it. It's not quite the look that I'm going for today, but I thought it'd be fun to see since it does look good in every house. So the good thing is that whether you go to Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore, they sell pretty inexpensive samples. And so I think these are $7 each. It's just enough to give you a time to be able to paint them, to paint your wall, whatever. And then most of the time when you paint your house, I'm gonna tell you, other people are gonna come over and say, what color did you use? And then you can say, here, I have a sample you can try. So it works really great. So the other things that I've got to be figuring out, so I have a barn door that, that just got put up and I'm super excited about it. So I've got to figure out the stain. And I recently did a project and it was this color is a briarwood and I'm in love with it. So I'm thinking that might be what I'm gonna go with. I've got to do a little more testing and figuring things out. I did find out today that Minwax has a new classic gray. So I've got to do some more investigating on that. But it's all coming together really nicely. So I hope that helps you figure out some paint options. I did want to talk to you a little bit about the sheens because that is probably one of the #1 questions that I get asked. What sheen do I choose? So usually a house, when painted by a builder, comes in a flat paint. Flat paint is probably the worst paint because it is porous. You look at it wrong and it's got marks. It is something that you cannot wipe off because if you do, it wipes off the paint. So what I usually recommend is eggshell. That is usually perfect. It wipes off well. It doesn't look too shiny like a semi-gloss would. A time where you would use a semi-gloss is probably in a bathroom where you're going to get a lot of moisture, that it's a very steamy bathroom, that maybe there's not windows in there to help let some of that out. So those are the things that I would do, or the way you could look at it. Do I have little kids that are going to be touching these walls all the time? Do I have water that's going to be in there? Those are ways to help you choose, but most always go with the eggshell. You can't really go wrong with it. Another thing I wanted just to mention really quick, when you paint these boards, make sure that when you're looking at it, you don't look at it like this, like sideways, because that's not how a wall looks. A wall is straight. So you always want to make sure when you look at these that you look at it straight on, because the light hits in different ways. Light is such a big factor in choosing paint. So how am I doing with my renovation? Now that we've got all this paint figured out, I'm doing okay. It's super crazy. I have workers in my house nonstop. They are the nicest guys though, so I have to say that. Very, very nice people to work with. They are really good to answer questions, and don't be afraid to talk to them. They know a lot. They deal with the wood and the construction and all that every single day. So they are a good person to talk to and say, hey, what do you think about staining this? How will that stain work on this? Or things like that. They're really knowledgeable people, so take the opportunity to talk to them if you have the chance. The dust is everywhere. We're going a little bit crazy, but we've got so much progress. The island got set this week, my barn door got put up, and I started another little project. We started putting wood stairs on our staircase. And I started a decorative project on the stairs as well, because I have this wall that is just a little bit oddly shaped, and it is hard to decorate. I've not been able to put any pictures on it because of the curve of the wall. So now with this cool decorative treatment, it's going to be its own look and it's going to be really great. So we're surviving. We're hopefully a couple more weeks and we're going to have a finished project. I can't wait to show you guys. I can't wait to give you guys the big reveal of how everything turns out. And thanks for joining me, guys. Have a great day.